Welcome to Boring Money, Rich Life. I'm your host, Joy Hicks, and today we're going to talk about financial freedom because that's really the whole point of this channel is learning about all of these different boring money topics so that we can actually create a real rich life. And the reason why I say real is because a lot of times, especially in America, people look very wealthy. So you might go to a restaurant and see the parking lot full of all of these luxury vehicles. You might walk in and see designer bags and nice watches and all these different things, right? But a lot of times, the people who actually look wealthy are probably in a lot of like financial strain. And a lot of times that's because here in America, we are such big spenders. And I'm honestly talking about myself too, because like prior to learning all of these different things about money, I was a bad spender. Like I would go shopping every Saturday, going out to eat right after I was spending like hundreds of dollars on clothes. But that's really kind of like how you feel like you made it in America because we don't really define success by like pulling back. It's like we wear our wealth. And so 9 times out of 10, the people who look very wealthy usually are not. But the whole point of this channel is to actually build real wealth, like an actual rich life. So that way, when you're on vacation, you're not logging into your phone, checking, your balance and seeing if you overspent. When you have time away, you can actually enjoy because you know that the money is there. So that's the goal of this channel. And I've been reading the book, The Millionaire Next Door, for like weeks now. And it's just because I've been getting busy. So usually by now I've already finished a book, but this one, there is a lot of like good information in it. So it's partly that I've been busy and then also because there's actually a lot of good info in that book. But the book, The Millionaire Next Door, it actually defines financial freedom as being able to not work for the next 10 plus years and still live comfortably. And I feel like most people are probably not near that at all. But that is definitely the goal to where like if you could not work or if you just chose not to work for the next 10 years that you are actually free to do what you want to do. Because me personally, I don't want to wait until I retire to actually enjoy my life. That is not what I'm waking up every day to do. That's not what I'm working towards. Like, I want to actually enjoy my life while I'm young, while there's life to be lived. I don't want to be like old and like decrepit and just wasting away and then finally stop working. So, in order to actually get financially free, there is a lot of sacrifice that you have to do now in order to get there. Like you can definitely set financial freedom as a goal, but it is a lot of discipline. It really is because in order to become financially free, you have to have money. Like there is no question about it. How are you going to pay your bills if you're not working? And once you answer that question and you actually have systems in place to be able to, live your life and then have spending money and not work, that is when you are actually financially free. So now we're kind of like putting the things in motion to get there. And again, it's going to take money. And you really can't just save your way to financial freedom if you're trying to do it at like a younger age. Now, if you're trying to do that, in your 70s and your 80s, you probably could save your way to financial freedom. But again, that's not my goal. I don't want to wait until I'm old to actually take some time away from work and, travel and spend time with my daughter and all these things. Like, I want to do that while I'm young. So you need money, and the way that you're going to actually build that type of nest egg is through investing. Now, I have talked about like investing strategies, so definitely look at my other videos for some suggestions there, but you need money to invest. Like there is no other way unless you have like a huge inheritance coming. If you don't, you're going to have to invest your money. And a lot of times people kind of put like a barrier before they even try. So they'll be like, oh, I don't have any money to invest. Mind you, if you go to Starbucks anytime during the month, if you go out to eat anytime during the month, if you go to the movies, if you go shopping, if you're ordering off Amazon anytime during the month, then baby, you have some money to invest. Like you have some spare money to invest. And I think that's the mind shift that we have to have is investing is still spending, right? You're just spending your money on something else. You're putting your money away in hopes that that money is actually going to grow and start to work for you instead of just spending it on items. And so that's kind of like the sacrifice and the discipline that you have to have if you actually want to be financially free. Now, a lot of times people do say that they want financial freedom, but again, they'll kind of put like a barrier up and be like, well, I want to do it, but I really can't right now. And honestly, it really doesn't take much to get started with investing. Now, the only thing that it really does take is time for you to learn different strategies. I do not recommend just waking up one day and just like randomly doing stuff. Like I do recommend that you read books and articles and watch YouTubers or however you learn. I will say it is going to take your time to understand how investing works because that's going to make you a lot more knowledgeable so that you're not just throwing your money down the drain. So it is definitely going to take your time, but honestly, you could start with like $5 a month. Like there's definitely apps like Robinhood, I believe, where you can like round up and they'll put some money aside for you to invest. I don't use programs like that because I feel like I'm trying to be a lot more strategic than just like rounding up a dollar. But again, if that's how you're getting started, that's how you're getting started. Like the most important thing is to start. But again, you could really start with like $5, just setting aside $5 every paycheck. And then maybe after 2 months or so, look at some stocks that you could purchase or look at other avenues that you can invest in, right? But the goal is really just to get started. Because if all you're doing with your money is spending it, you are never going to be financially free at all. Because your money is that's literally wasting your money, literally. And again, this is coming from someone who had a horrible shopping problem. And mind you, a couple weeks ago, I did buy a very expensive purse, but I've been disciplined and I've been budgeting. And so, the goal is for me to have a rich life. So I'm not necessarily saying I'm not going to buy things. I do go to happy hours and enjoy my time. I do get my nails done and my hair done and all these different things, but I plan for it now. I actually have a budget and a system, and I know exactly where my money is going. The issue is when we just spend, and then at the end of the month, we have no money left, and we're wondering where all of our money went. And that is not the goal. The goal is financial freedom, where we are actually putting our money to work for us so that way we can stop working for money. That is the goal. But like I said, it is definitely a mindset shift because if you don't really see the value in investing, then you're never going to do it. You're never going to get started. So it definitely takes you first. Like I would say before you even open up a brokerage account or before you even look at an article or whatever, you have to see the value in it because, again, if you don't really see the point, then all you're going to do is keep spending. I feel like we are in a day and age where things are changing so much. So it's kind of like the world around us is kind of forcing us to be financially free anyway. So if you can't really do it for yourself, like think about what's happening in the world alone. Like I share with you guys all the time that the workforce it's changing so much. So even just our environment is changing where you're going to need money. Like that's really it. Like you're going to need money. There's really no way to kind of sugarcoat it because God forbid you lose your job today. What are you going to do? Especially when different government aided programs are kind of going away, like Medicaid and food stamps. It's like, how are you going to feed your family? So I would rather kind of do that on my own than be forced to do it, if that makes sense. Like I would rather already kind of have systems in place if something were to happen than to kind of be forced into it abruptly. Again, if you are watching this channel, you probably do want to be financially free, and it's probably something that you're learning about yourself because again, That is the whole point of this channel, is to learn about all of these boring money tips that, when I want to watch Netflix and I want to be doing something else, I'm reminding myself like, hey, this is for my future. And then to actually build a rich life. So again, you're not necessarily like nickel and diming yourself. You're actually on the path to becoming financially free. So I just wanted to give you guys that little reminder of why we're doing this. And then, like I said, I wanted to kind of give you guys like an actual definition of what it means to be financially free. Again, being able to live 10 plus years without working and still living comfortably. I did share with you guys a video about net worth. So definitely watch that video if you want to actually calculate what your personal net worth should be based off your income and based off your age. And that'll kind of give you an idea of the amount of money that you're actually working towards. Now, if it is a big amount and you're way off, like, don't be hard on yourself, to be honest. Like, most of us are not are not there yet, but we're on the path. We're putting the right things in motion to get there, and that's all that matters. We just have to be consistent. So, as always, what is one boring thing that you can do today to start fueling your rich life? Again, I'm Joy Hicks, your host. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe.